Lore of the Old World, Ravening Hordes, Episode 1. Desolate Realms. Great columns of smoke rise above the horizon as distant settlements burn. Refugees stream in the opposite direction, screaming, "They are coming!" Across the known world, powerful warlords raise grim hordes without number. From beyond the northernmost reaches of civilization, from within the deepest, darkest forests, the cursed warriors of chaos march, and the bitter beasts of chaos stalk. Amidst this backdrop of chaos and confusion, uncountable orcs and goblins march to war, fighting for the very thrill of violence. From the arid deserts of ancient Nehekhara, vast legions of skeletal soldiers rise up from beneath the baking sands to slaughter those that would claim the distant reaches of their forgotten empire. Mortals despair. Destruction has been unleashed, and the reign of chaos has begun. The world stands on the brink of annihilation. It has done since the dawn of time, when the great civilization of the Old Ones was destroyed in a terrible cataclysm, and the world became flooded with the energy of chaos. While the world itself dies its slow death, the fragile civilizations of men, dwarves and elves cling to their existence, ever looking to the borders of their nations with fearful eyes, knowing that their safety and security is a fleeting thing. The known world does not end at the borders of the Old World. In truth, the Old World itself, vast though it is, covers barely a fifth of the known world. Beyond the World's Edge Mountains to the east, across the great ocean to the west, north of frozen Kislev, and south of Britannia, lie lands beyond imagining. These far places are home to orcs and goblins, ogres and trolls, and more besides. Some have even claimed the existence of a sunken city populated by a race of mysterious fishmen. But such preposterous stories are clearly made up to delight small children and alarm suggestible adults. The truth is likely far worse. The Badlands is the name given to the desolate region south of the Border Princes, a region famed as being home to barren rock, arid plains, and hordes of orcs. It is from the Badlands that most orc and goblin invasions into the civilized lands of the Old World originate. In the southerly expanse of the Badlands, rising in twisted spires from the barren soil, can be found many strange rock formations. Scholars believe these to be the remains of an ancient civilization, perhaps an outpost of the lost empire of Nehekhara. Whatever the case, today the area is considered home to a large number of ghouls and various other carrion beasts. These pitiful creatures eke out a sorrowful existence in such barren conditions. Beyond the World's Edge Mountains lies the trackless expanse of wilderness known as the Darklands, a great cold desert beneath an eternally cloud-filled sky that stretches east for many miles, until the twisted landscape rises once more where it meets the foothills of the Mountains of Morn. To the south, where blackened skies give way to searing sun and blistering heat, the wilderness meets a jagged and storm-tossed coast, beyond which lies the aptly named Sea of Dread. In the northernmost reaches of the Darklands, the dark desert meets the plain of Zar. Here the mountains become volcanic, and the very earth itself cracks apart, revealing the molten core of the world. Beyond this, the grim and foreboding Mountains of Morn merge with the northern limits of the World's Edge Mountains. Many foul creatures roam this empty wastelands, chimeras, minotaurs, ogres, beastmen, and worse, horrifying monsters mutated by the seething energy of chaos. It is from here, in the dark lands, that many migratory tribes of orcs, goblins, and more originate, roving far and wide across the face of the world, following the trade routes of more civilized races to distant lands. And it is here, in the dark lands, that the armies of chaos assemble when the winds of magic blow, gathering around gruesome monoliths erected in honor of their masters. Across the southern sea, beyond the exotic land of Araby, lies ancient Nehekhara, the forebodingly named Land of the Dead, and home to the cyclopean tomb cities of Khemri and Numas. Long before the coming of Sigma, Nehekhara flourished, though it was to be brought low by the megalomania of its kings and the betrayal of its high priest, Nagash. So steeped in evil ambition was Nagash that, through his necromantic magics, he laid a terrible curse of undeath over all the lands. All of Nehekhara withered and died, cursed to an unquiet death from which there could be no true respite. To this day the name of Nagash is whispered in hushed tones across the world, for he is perhaps the most powerful sorcerer ever to have existed, and death is no escape from his power. Today the once great realm of Nehekhara is a barren sea of sand dunes, a scorching desert studded with the morbid architecture of a civilization obsessed with death. Beneath the thin white sands and deserted valleys lie countless gilded artifacts and trinkets buried among drifts of human bone. Each of the many thousand tombs that dot the arid landscape contains a king's ransom in jewelry and gem-studded weaponry. Every year, armies of the avaricious and the adventurous march deep into the heat-blasted deserts, intent on ransacking the legendary wealth of these inhospitable lands, despite rumors of the vengeful dead buried beneath their feet. Every year, the sands are stained once more with the blood of the foolish, for the rumors of spirits abroad in the deserts are true. The long-dead soldiers of ancient Nehekhara stand ready for battle at all times. North of Kislev, north even of Norska and the Troll Country, lies the realm of Chaos. This wild expanse of untamed and unnatural land stretches from the borders of civilization all the way to the very top of the world. A wild and primordial landscape, twisted and warped beyond the ken of mere mortals, in ways both bizarre and sublime, by the power of the strange pantheon of chaos gods that holds dominion here. In the midst of time, the gateway of the Old Ones lay at the North Pole, and it was from there that the Slann and their godlike masters entered and left our world. Unfortunately, following some long-forgotten cataclysm, this gate was destroyed, causing it to shatter and allow the raw stuff of chaos to flood into the world. For many centuries the marauder tribes of the north have lived under the shadow of the realm of chaos, worshipping the ruinous powers and imploring them for their dark blessings. Every year raiding parties of these fur-clad maniacs surge southwards looking for plunder. At regular intervals, when the winds of magic blow with ever greater ferocity, huge armies form. Mustering beneath the banners of mighty Chaos Lords, their ranks are swelled by black-armoured Chaos Warriors and Knights, the champions of the Chaos Gods. With their numbers further increased as they march by the horrific creatures of chaos that dwell within the blasted landscapes, these great champions lead their war hosts south, into the lands of man, dwarf and elf alike, in a tide of destruction that might herald the end of the very world itself.